We won't know what officially happened until the police report is released, but it was something to do with the trimix in their lungs having some kind of chemical reaction with the leftover Indian food in their stomach, and... Who is it?
James, it's Jimmy.
Hey Jimmy, what's the password?
I got Guinness.
Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Welcome to Divers Ready. We're here with yet another installment in the My Local Dive Buddies series. And today I have the eminable Mr. Jimmy Gadomski in the studio with me. Jimmy, great to see you, mate.
Thanks for having me, James.
Mate, appreciate it. Cheers, by the way.
Cheers.
Did we say cheers already? Happy days. So, Jimmy, tech instructor, charter boat captain, explorer. These are the things I brought you in to talk about today.
Yes.
Let's start with the combination of how I know you, which is as a charter boat captain first and foremost, and also a tech instructor and local techie down here in South Florida. But maybe just sort of talk about like how we first met and how we started diving and all that kind of stuff together. And
well, Pompano Dive Center.
Rest in peace, man.
I know. Met at Pompano Dive Center. Been working with them for about 5-6 years on and off, and then they went downhill. What? January?
Yeah.
Sad, I know.
Still, man.
Our local tech op.
I know.
But nowadays, just, I ran their boat for years. Been running other boats around South Florida, do a lot of yacht deliveries back and forth. Captain a couple different dive boats in South Florida. Teach technical diving all throughout Keys, Miami, Pompano, West Palm, wherever. Yeah.
Absolutely. How do you go about recruiting students for tech? How do you decide if somebody who comes to you and say, hey Jimmy, I want to do my tech courses, I want to do my advanced nitrox. How do you decide if that person is ready or not?
If they are not a previous student, first thing I will do is take them on a dive and kind of evaluate their gear, see how they are in the water, see what they look like in the water. Outside of that, if they're a previous student, I kind of know where they've come from, but basically take them on an evaluation dive. Take them on a dive, see how they are in the water, and tell them, okay, maybe we need an intro to tech class. Let's explain the basic fundamentals of technical diving. Let's get your trim and buoyancy in order. Let's put you in some double tanks and explain the double setup and how everything is rigged, why it's rigged a certain way, why we do it this way in technical diving rather than recreational diving.
Yeah, there's a heavy equipment focus. I take the same approach. If I don't know somebody, it's nice to get a checkout dive with them first, for sure. I think also a lot of what we do when we prepare someone for technical diving is give them the realization that if they start the course too soon, it's pass-fail. You can waste a lot of money on tech training and end up with no certification quite easily. So do not start the training until you're absolutely ready for it, right?
Exactly, good point. And a lot of these people want to go straight from recreational diving and go to advanced nitrox decompression procedures or whatever the equivalent may be. Sometimes you need that intro to tech class. That intro to tech class is important because if you have no fundamental skills of technical diving prior to that, you need to build those skills. And if you go right from just say advanced to advanced nitrox deco, you're skipping that whole basic fundamentals of technical diving.
Yeah, it can get pretty hairy in that kind of gray area there for sure. Yeah, and then obviously, like as a charter boat captain, one of the things you're known for in South Florida is fantastic drops, right?
Yes.
Don't miss with Jimmy. Everyone, I'm gonna get a t-shirt made. You don't miss with Jimmy. We'll get the t-shirt made.
Yes.
Right. What are some of the differences between being a tech boat charter captain and being a recreational recreational boat captain, let's put it that way?
So having the technical training and been diving these wrecks for years and just knowing how I would want to be dropped on the wreck has a big impact on how I'm dropping others on the wreck. And knowing the wrecks themselves, knowing the orientation of the wreck, knowing where I'm going to put them in order to drop, whether I'm dropping rebreather divers, whether I'm dropping open circuit divers, how quick they're going to sink, whether they're in dry suits or not. It might be cold out, we might be doing this in winter, you might need to get them a little bit more lead. And judging the current. Judging the current's a big part of this, and having that technical knowledge is a huge part. I think every captain that's doing tech drops should have some kind of technical training background, as well as the dive masters on board. The dive masters on board, if you have a dive master that has no idea what's going on, then they're just a body on there. They don't know what to do if something goes wrong on the boat. They don't know what to do if something goes wrong underwater. And that's an extra comfort level for the customers that are going to be on the boat.
Absolutely. And PDC, you know, the reason I say RIP and we joke about missing it so much is it's one of the most professional tech shops I had used anywhere in the world. And one of that was exactly due to that reason you just said, the dive masters and the training of the dive masters, that it's the only shop that I've dove with where I'd be at the 20-foot stop and somebody comes plummeting into the water to just check on us. Hey, you okay? You need some gas? I got 100% with me. You want this? You need it? You okay? Can I take any of your disused stages with? Like things like that. Not just from a customer service point of view, but from a safety point of view. That's huge.
You know you have that extra comfort in the water too. We're going to come and check on you. Yeah. We're going to say, hey, are you okay? Do you need anything? We have gas for you. Or if you need something, go write it down and bring it back up and bring you back down another bottle, or take bottles from you, take your scooters from you, take something that makes your life easier in the water.
Yeah, customer service and safety together. Now, we're in the same WhatsApp group as Alejandro, who was here on the first episode in this series. You know him as well, local dive legend. And in that group, over the course of this summer, there's been a number of near misses reported, right? Where we all talk about, you know, hey, we're diving this wreck at the weekend, who's in, who's that, you know, and we make plans together, and then also we do dive reports, so we let people know what the conditions were like, and we tell people, oh, you know, we had this issue on this particular boat, and so on. There have been a number of near misses this summer, and I put a post out there, which I know we talked about like a couple of days ago on the boat, that it's down to the fact that everyone wants a slice of the tech pie, right? This is a growing market. Everyone wants to be a tech diver or wants to be in the tech community, but some dive shops just aren't set up in that way so far, right? Would you agree with that?
I agree 100% with that.
And the problems we're seeing with that are that if you've got a boat captain who's been running 60-foot reef charters their entire career, that's great, and that's their bread and butter, and then all of a sudden they decide to throw on a 160-foot wreck, and now we're having some issues, right? And some near misses, and you know, to be honest, a couple of our friends have almost got seriously hurt. Like it's only been by luck, not judgment, that they actually made it, you know?
Yeah, and it comes down to missing the wrecks. I mean, it's much different to drop on a 60 or 100-foot wreck than if you're doing something at 200, 300 feet. Yeah. And same with pickups. Picking up divers, there's a certain way that you want to pick up divers. Rough seas, not rough seas. You want to approach them in a certain way, especially when you have these divers drifting in the water. You're not just tied to a mooring ball. You have people that are drifting in the water, and as a captain, you need to take utmost just comfort for the divers in the water, and make sure they're comfortable with you picking them up, because if they're not comfortable in the water, they're not going to feel safe at the end of the day. You need to approach them in a safe manner in order to get them back on.
Absolutely, and that's like, people don't understand, because you've got to the surface and they think, oh, the dive's over, I made it back from a tech dive, right? Okay, I'm good, I'm on the surface, I'm not, you know, everything seems to be all right, I've got positive buoyancy, and I'm here and I'm waiting for the boat. That's like one of the most dangerous parts of the dive, is getting back on board this moving vessel. Like, and people just kind of relax and that sort of thing. But also, you know, boat captains like, oh, my divers are up now. It's okay. No, you've got to get them back on board safely.
Decompression sickness also, it doesn't hit right away. No, exactly. I mean, you could still have an issue 15, 20, 45 minutes after they've surfaced. So getting those people back on the boat is just as important as when they were doing their decompression in the water, because something could still happen at the surface.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And some of those things, like for example, you know, we had a diver that was almost ran over, right? Almost got fed into the props because the boat was in reverse. And if the ladder wasn't down, they grabbed onto that.
Yeah, and there's been instances when that has actually happened too. I mean,
we've had divers blown off of wrecks, right? Where, you know, they've drifted for half an hour, 45 minutes. ordinarily, under normal circumstances, not a problem. You're just on the surface, it's an inconvenience, right? What if they were toxing out, or what if they, had DCS or whatever? Now they're floating face down unconscious in the water for 30 minutes, 45 minutes before getting picked up. Major problem. So all these kind of things are a little bit worrying. What should we, as a tech community, do about it? I don't mean our group of friends. I mean, in general, what practices can anyone watching this video?
In a tech community, like, you want to make sure the boat is being safe. If the boat is trained and know what to look for, you should be there. You shouldn't be no split drops. You shouldn't be split dropping people at all. The boat should be 100% over the wreck, because within those first couple of minutes, something could go wrong. I mean, if you split drop people, if you're throwing people here and you're going drop other people, what, half a mile, 2 miles away, if they have an issue over here and your boat's over here, you're on your own. And if something does go wrong that first portion of the dive, hopefully it won't, but if something does go wrong, you're pretty much on your own out there floating in 150, 200, 300 feet of water.
No, absolutely. It's bad times. And let me explain for anyone watching that doesn't understand split drop, just from a contextual point of view. There are companies here in South Florida, none of which either of us would dive with, who will go do 2 different sites on the same trip. And I don't mean like do one dive and then do the second dive. They'll go to one site, drop half the people in, maybe tech divers that want to do a deeper wreck, then drive off and go to a completely different wreck site to put recreational divers in that might be doing a double dip. It's incredibly dangerous. I don't like it, I don't support it, and I want no part of it. The mind boggles that that's even a thing that's allowed,
And your dive master is just as important as the captain.
Absolutely.
Your dive master needs to be trained in technical diving and know what to look for, because the captain can only see so much. Dive master might be down on the deck and see a bag pop. Maybe they missed the wreck. If the captain doesn't see that bag pop up and the dive master's not paying attention, not tech trained, you might be floating for an hour, 2 hours before. Sometimes these currents, as you know, down here, could get ripping.
That's pretty gnarly. Absolutely. So all those things are interesting. I mean, there are operators down here that I use on a regular basis and trust. It's not all bad news, right? There are good people down here doing good drops and reputable tech companies. I think one of the ways that you can always tell is, does the shop sell helium? Does the shop sell sorb? Does it have a tech support of the shop itself, right? That's normally a good indication that, okay, they're active in the tech community, they have tech instructors on staff, our competition, we can say that. Other tech instructors fighting for tech students and so on, and that they're active and that they're training and that kind of stuff, right? There are other, like I said, if they don't have those facilities, it already is like a flag for me. I'm kind of like, okay, so how into tech are you? Because anyone can drive a boat into 160 feet of water and drop divers in the water. It's getting them back and knowing the sort of procedures and what's going on down there that gets a little bit cagey. So.
And that comes down to being trained as well. You want to make sure everybody is trained and knows what they're doing. I mean, even at PDC, I had all my dive masters at least advanced nitrox deco. We used to tie into all the wrecks. We've tied into pretty much anything. But not saying everybody needs to tie in, but at least be tech trained and know what to expect. I would have a tech crew that we would go out with, and then I'd had my recreational crew, and we would schedule as such. We would schedule the tech crew for the tech dives. And it makes all the difference from the safety standpoint, from the customer standpoint. It makes 100% difference across the board, and it shows. Obviously. All
right, so RIP Pompano, you're a great dive center. Still nobody has popped up in South Florida to take your place in my heart and all that kind of stuff. We got a bit of a show and tell going on here. You brought some cool stuff to show me. I love it. You are literally, out of the thousands of divers that I know, the only treasure hunter I know, and that's the main reason I brought you in here, right? Talk to us about treasure hunting. If somebody is a technical diver or even just a diver and they want to get into it, what is going on? Like, what is it? What do you do? What do you do? Jimmy, what do you do? Like, what is this? Because you go away, and then the next thing I know, I see a photo on Facebook and you're holding up a gold coin. And I'm like, what? How? I don't even know.
So I work a couple of different wrecks in North and South Carolina. We've been working them a couple of years, the Pulaski being the most popular one. We have a few other ones that we're working, and basically, I go down and I look for artifacts, gold coins, silver coins, anything that may be of value. And we're hired by different companies to go out and salvage these wrecks, and we do a lot of wreck salvage. And this is the outcome of a lot of those wrecks. But yeah, this I do treasure hunting. I'm a wreck diver, and I like to salvage wrecks. I've always been into the salvage aspect of things.
Okay.
And because of the technical training that I get, I'm a tech instructor, obviously. They hired me to get more bottom time on the wreck of the Pulaski. I was not a treasure hunter before that. And first time out, I actually brought up a piece of the wreck, which was a candlestick that had the name of the wreck on it. Named the wreck, we got the full admiralty claim on the wreck, and then we started salvaging the wreck, and from there found a couple $1 million worth of treasure.
Oh, so you're a millionaire?
I wouldn't go that far, but we
Put you right on the spot there.
Yeah, I know, right? We've definitely found quite a bit of treasure on the wreck itself, and it's been it's a lot of fun too. I've always liked to salvage wrecks. I mean, for instance, this is from right here in Miami. This is that's off the Esmeralda, but the rest of the stuff, the deck spikes come from North and South Carolina. These screws are from South Carolina. This is a perfume top.
Very cool.
From the Pulaski itself.
And the coins, of course.
The coins are certified through NGC. All the coins, we found hundreds and hundreds of coins on this wreck. But these are from certified through NGC and gold coins, silver coins.
It's amazing. Mm-hmm. So NGC certify them, they originate the metal, is that what they do?
They certify them, they grade them, they each get a grading, and then they each get a value that is attached to that grading. And most of them go to auction. We get a cut of some of them, and then get to keep the coins, or we could sell the coins, whatever we want to do with them pretty much.
Pretty awesome. Mm-hmm. So you chose to keep these ones, obviously?
Yeah.
Part of your personal collection?
I like to have a personal collection of everything that I find. I mean, I have portholes off of the wrecks. I have, the wreck itself was a paddle wheeler, steamer traveling up the coast, and the Pulaski itself, about just after 11 o'clock at night, boilers heated up and exploded. About 200 people on board or so, and killed about 150 people on the wreck. There were 50 survivors, and to tell the story, and that's how we know so much about the wreck. And wreck split in two pieces, boiler sank right to the bottom, and basically we're after everything that was on the ship.
Yeah, and you were telling me before we rolled cameras that you found like a pocket watch that stopped.
Yeah, so we have found lots of pocket watches on this wreck. The first pocket watch that I found, which was right near the boiler, it was encrusted in a kind of like incrustation like this, but big, and it had a gold chain wrapped around it. And found it right near the boiler, set it aside. I kept searching. I was like, oh, that's a gold chain, and brought it back up to the surface. After NGC started cleaning it up, there was a pocket watch on the inside of that. And the time on the pocket watch was actually stopped just after 11:05 at night.
Yeah.
And that kind of verifies the backstory of the wreck itself.
And the time that the explosion happened.
That's right when the explosion happened.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Let's talk. So, obviously, like I said, down here, South Florida, it's wreck diving paradise. You did the Great Lakes this summer.
Yes.
Which makes me super jealous because, as you know, as I was talking about it, I had plans to have friends come over from Europe and do a whole road trip and get up there. I haven't done it myself. It's still on my bucket list. How was it?
Amazing.
Right?
Cold, but amazing. You will never see wrecks like that in that pristine condition. It looks like a movie scene going down there. Oh. I mean, these wrecks, they're completely wooden wrecks, fully intact because of the cold water. And they're sitting upright on the bottom, mast still up, just perfect, your picture perfect wreck.
Yeah.
And I would go back there 100 times over.
Absolutely. Well, come with me when we finally get the trip pulled off.
Yeah.
But freshwater, low oxidization, right?
Yeah.
Which is why they're so well preserved on the bottom.
Clear water too.
Beautiful, clear lake water.
39 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, dry suits at the ready, sure.
Dry suits, yep.
But what kind of depths were you hitting? Give us an example of one of the wrecks you were diving up there.
Everything was about 160 to like 220, 240, right around there. Thermocline right about 60, 70 feet. So once you hit that 60, 70 feet, it gets to about 39, your face goes numb. Once everything goes numb, it's kind of like,
Yeah.
But the deco is really nice because once you start your deco, you start to defrost.
Get sensation back in your extremities?
It was mainly the fingers. The fingers would go numb right around 30 minutes on the bottom, 35 minutes on the bottom. Once the fingers went numb, I'm like, okay, it's time to go.
Did you have wet gloves and dry gloves?
I had dry gloves, strictly.
Just strictly? Oh, see, I never trust them. See, I have the wet gloves underneath just in case. I know it makes you more, or less tactile, but I don't know about that, man.
Yeah.
Dude, so great to have you in the studio. Thank you ever so much. Are you ready for the 10 questions we ask everybody?
I guess I am.
All right, Jimmy Gadomski, these are the 10 questions we ask everybody. Question 1, where was your first dive?
First dive was in the Bahamas, Grand Bahama, actually.
You told me about that. Number 2, what was your best ever dive?
Best ever dive would be on the Pulaski, where I found gold for the first time, found a candlestick holder that discovered the wreck.
That's awesome. 3, place you've dived the most?
Pompano, South Florida. Lots of dives there.
4, who is your scuba hero?
Scuba hero, any wreck diver out there. I love wreck diving. They're my heroes. I would love to dive with all of them.
Excellent. 5, preferred scuba setup?
Preferred scuba setup would be the rebreather, JJ rebreather.
There you go. 6, favorite dive destination?
Favorite dive destination? South Florida, for sure. I mean, I love the Caribbean, anywhere in the Caribbean, South Florida area.
7, freshwater or salt?
That's a tough one. I'd say saltwater, but I do love the caves.
8, last course taken?
Last course taken would be, it's a tough one. JJ course, about a couple years ago.
9, next dive trip booked?
Next, I actually don't have any dive trick booked because of COVID right now. I mean, I'm diving all up and down the coast of Florida and the East Coast, but no actual trips booked.
10, bucket list dive you haven't done yet?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'd like to go do some of the blue holes. I'd like to do a lot of the deep wrecks. I'd like to go to Scapa Flow, do the wrecks over there.
Jimmy, mate, great having you in the studio.
Thanks for having me, James.
Cold Guinness, can't beat it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this latest installment of our Meet My Dive Buddies. This was Jimmy Gadomski. If you want to follow Jimmy's treasure hunting activities, the absolute best way to do it is through his Instagram, and I will link his account in the description of this video below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so already. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, this was your Divers Ready video for this week. Dive safe, dive often.